Hi everyone, welcome to this race review of the Zwift Crit Racing Club 10 laps of Downtown Dolphin C race. So it's 3:30 to 5:20 ZRS, I believe. And I thought I'd just do this today because I recorded the race, but I didn't really want to bother kind of narrating it as I was going. Partly because I didn't know how well I would do. It's a while since I've done a crit race, but I kind of just wanted to focus on the race today rather than kind of getting distracted by recording and stuff like that. So I thought, you know what, I'd maybe just try and do a race review afterwards, and you know, if there's anything interesting in it. So I kind of really wanted to focus on today just drafting, positioning. If it came to a sprint, trying to just really improve my sprint, which is absolutely one of my weakest points. I mean, if I have any strong points, but it's definitely one of my weakest points. Feeling okay today. Had 2 workouts the previous day and then a race the day before that, so kind of just getting into things. Not too worried about the legs. And we can see here, just going through these first couple of laps, just mainly feeling out what everybody else is kind of doing, and just maintaining this connection with that first group. There's 22 people in the race, so quite a nice small group, which should be fairly competitive. I wasn't sure on how the start would go, whether it would be really spicy or what, but we can see here on lap 2, at the end of lap 2, just things to kind of start to stretch out a little bit. So I just put a little effort in to just stay with the front, and then it all closes up again. So the first couple of laps are fairly uneventful, really. People just kind of getting through them, I guess. Just no one wants to get dropped in the first couple of laps. On the third lap, I put a bit of an effort in on the prime sprint and prime climb or whatever. I guess partly just to open the legs up, but also just to kind of see what people are doing, see if people are going to chase, what type of power they can put down. And one of the things that I have been really focusing on in this race is drafting, not expending energy unnecessarily, which I'm terrible for. And I'll slow the race down at this point quite a few times, as we'll see, and I think these little rollers at the end of the lap are a really good, it's kind of a really good place to just see how drafting can really affect, and you know, the amount of watts that you need to put down to stay with the group. So we've just seen someone sprint off the front, try and make a bit of a breakaway, and then this is the 4th time of the prime sprint, and we actually see someone else put a load of watts down. David Kellington, I believe it was. He really pushed hard on that to try and catch up with Mr. Rasmussen. And there's always that temptation, kind of mulling it over in my head, whether I should chase or not. Generally, how I kind of podium races is by breaking away, so it's that temptation. And you can actually see here, I start to try and chase this down, kind of pushing a bit too hard. I just don't think I've got it in the legs today. And I see the gap actually start to close a bit on Rasmussen. So at this point, towards just the end of this straight, I think I kind of start to pull up a little bit, and I can see the gap drops to about 3 seconds. I'm not making any headway on the group, so you know, maybe it kind of woke people up a little bit, but I can see that, you know, we're gonna bring this person back, and then there's only one person at the front. When you get one person at the front, it's not too bad. When there's 2, you know, that's when things can get spicy. So this is why I kind of made that kind of very uncommitted attack and chase myself. this was a really good example here of kind of drafting. So I've drifted towards the back, and this is what I wanted to focus on. There was no danger of losing contact, but I just put a little bit of effort in, just on that first roller. And you can see I'm not putting a lot of effort down, and no one else is either, to be fair, but I'm just drifting nicely back into that pack. You know, my heart rate's around 170, which is perfect for me. It's absolutely fine. Feeling really comfortable at this point as well. No one's pushed too hard apart from the breakaway, obviously. Keep going over this prime sprint, not too much of a worry. And we come back to this point again, and this is what I start doing every lap. Just start drifting off to the back, put a little bit of effort in. I've not even gone over 200 watts there, and I'm just being sucked back in because of that draft. And I just kind of get brought back in every single time. So there's no point in spending those watts, and that's something that I'm terrible at doing normally. So I'm really, out of everything in this race, I think just managing that draft and the power output and positioning as well was something that I was really quite happy with. So lap 7, we see someone actually put down an aero here and start to break off, and I chase, which, as I said before, I'm terrible at. I'm always going to chase someone down. I have to really stop myself. It's kind of my heart versus my head. Trying to use my head in this race a lot more. And again, I start to chase, and then I realise, well, this person's not getting away. It was actually Rasmussen again who tried breaking away before, so probably doesn't quite have the same energy levels at this point to really go for it. Everybody just gets sucked back in, even the guys that didn't chase. So I guess that's a learning point for me, that, you know, you don't always necessarily have to just chase every last little thing down. And towards the end of that chase, actually, just after the first few corners, I noticed that we start to bring back David Kellington, who actually puts a message up there saying well done for catching up, you know, which is kind of cool. We did stick together, which really caused us to get back on. I think if the whole group splintered, then maybe that would have worked. He'd have gone on to win. And just another example of drafting and the benefits of that. At this part of the race, gone off the back a little bit, putting admittedly a bit more power down this time, but, you know, nothing excessive, and then just really just nicely drifting back into the pack. Not going to work every time, you know, but I could tell in this race it was going to be fine. So lap 9, fairly uneventful, just kind of sticking on, kind of expecting an attack. I was a bit out of position on the sprint, on the prime sprint there. Had to kind of put an extra bit of power out, and then we get to lap 10, which is always going to be the spicy lap. So we can see everything's ramping up. We get to here. Now this, I was really caught out of position. I would have liked to have been a bit further towards the front, because people start putting red numbers down. So this was really maybe one of the mistakes that I made. You can see my heart rate going up. I'm having to really chase on, because at this point I thought, right, I want to go for this. I know my sprint's not the best, but if I could stay in the top sort of 5 or 6, I've got a real chance. And yeah, so I really have to push on that 184 BPM at this point. This flat here, I'm just trying to bring it back down if I can, put as few watts as possible, but just stay on, because I know I can use this draft, use these rollers to kind of stay with everything. And then obviously the final sprint comes, so I'm really sort of just monitoring what other people are doing. And this point I put the aero down maybe a little bit too early. I just try and maintain contact. Once I get around this corner, I'm going to use all that draft and put as much power down as possible. And for me, this was great. I don't get into red numbers, but I put down enough to actually just pip him for 3rd place. So I was really proud of that effort. It was actually my best 15-second and 30-second effort that I've ever done in a race. So really happy with myself, really happy that I used the draft, which can be seen by the average on there, or a bit less than other people. So I kind of maintained that effort really well. So just overjoyed with that. I felt quite bad for David, who has to be the man of the match, just to put that effort down to break away. And I actually exchanged a few messages with him after this race, which I think is one of the really nice things about the Zwift community. I just wanted to congratulate him. Yeah, so best 30 seconds, 15 seconds efforts in a race. I've done higher than that before, but in a workout, and I kind of just comparing here to actually my first ever race as well. I kind of sometimes have to remind myself I've only been doing this a year, so I'm just seeing how far I've come in 8 months. So yeah, should I have gone earlier on that sprint? Did my uncommitted chases kind of cost me too many matches, too many spoons further on? Yeah, so thank you for watching, and just remember, always draft is king, just not that type of draft. Yeah, awesome. Cheers everybody, see you later.